We can say, hey, do you know what? But because of all this engine failure, all my schedule, January 1st, went upside down. They say, okay, let's open our contractual agreement. And listen careful here. If contractual agreement says one failure equals one event, equals one chargeability or one payment. Okay? E. So failure, event, payment, chargeability. So one failure and one event equals one payment, or it is considered chargeable. Then when we go to this record, yes, what happened here? It was engine failure. Caused what? Caused delay, 65 minutes delay. What about this? Nothing. With 06, no failure. Next, no, 06, no failure here. Nothing. Okay? That brings us, again, this item brings us to another interesting subject, how to process data, or what we have to take into consideration to develop our data processing rules. Because sometimes I've seen it, companies are losing a lot of money. And we have to be very careful what to include, what to not to include. The number one document, as we can see, it is our contractual agreement. Right? We have to understand it. The second one, it is our experience. We have to take also into consideration. By the way, if we agree on both, right, that this is a failure event chargeability plus experience, then probably we need to create some coding system here, as we used the previous presentation, right? We said non-technical issues, non-technical ATAs, we said 0200 in this case, right? We have to remove this 72. Or what we can do, we can add another column here, say technical, non-technical, or some numbering system. Let's say non-technical can be, I don't know, let's say number 11. Technical issue number 10. So add the additional column here. Create additional technical, non-technical coding systems. Or you can use chargeable, non-chargeable. Depends on, again, what you want to see. Again, number one. Let's go back to our subject, right? Number one, contractual agreement. Number two, our experience. Number three, aviation authorities requirements. I'm going to explain what does it mean. Suppose we had a problem not with engine, right, but with ice detector. So ice detector failed here. Okay? We opened MEL, it says install 3, required 2, category 3 days. Within 3 days, we could change this. We can change these ice detectors. Okay, so we are okay. But then we open aviation authorities requirements, and it says during winter time, and it happened winter, right? January 1st, 2019. All installed ice detectors, just example, okay, just example. All installed ice detectors must be operational. As a result, so we cannot use this MEL. We have cancellation, CNX. Now we take again this record to our service provider with whom we have the contract, right? And tell them, this item is chargeable. They say, no, it is not chargeable because you could use MEL. You have one problem, so instead of, we have 3 ice detectors, one failed. MEL says, you know what, you can fly with 3 days. Why did you cancel? Then we're going to open our aviation authorities documents and show them, say, hey, do you know what? Aviation authorities requirements are the next. winter operation, all ice detectors must be operational. And definitely after this, they have to also agree, because they have to follow aviation authorities' rules, requirements, regulations. They have to say, yes, this item is chargeable. This failure is chargeable. Okay? Again, let me summarize. So, what we have to take into consideration when we are developing the processing system. So, document number one. So, number one, it is contractual agreement. Second, number one, experience, our experience. And third, number one, aviation authorities' requirements, rules, and regulations. So, these three items should be in front of our eyes when we are developing our data processing system. Otherwise, as I already said, we have to go, you know what, we have to actually go very detailed level and understand how all these three items are connected and what we want to see in our summary table, what we want to see, from our dispatch reliability perspective, right? Anyway, let's move to the next subject, which is auto service, right? Not gonna spend too much time here for these auto service items. Very simple version. Using same event. So we have MSN number 05-8872, auto service date January 1st, 2019, auto service time 7 o'clock, return to service date January 1st, 2019, return to service time 2300, total auto service, just simple math, 1600, reason is engine failure, corrective action, engine replaced, auto service type definitely unscheduled. Some comments here, unscheduled engine removals. Auto service is, from data processing perspective, even more interesting than delay and cancellation. And I'm going to give you here a very small interesting example. As you can see here, I put more than 60 minutes equals auto service, because as we said, we are setting our rules, processing rules based on our experience. And at the end of the day, we want this aircraft to fly, not to be on the ground, right? And then what we are saying here, that if our aircraft is more than on the ground, right, delay or cancellation, whatever, right, from technical reason on the ground, just for technical reason on the ground, more than 60 minutes, then this event belongs to the auto service group, auto service table, auto service system. Now, what does it mean? See, we have here 65 minutes, 2 hours, 10 minutes. So this is actually, I will be already calculated, right? So what we have to do, we have to add 1600 and 6 hours, 10 minutes, which is 22 hours, 10 minutes. When we take now this information to our service provider and then tell them, hey, you know what? Total auto service because of your engine issue is 22 hours. They can say, okay, can you please show us your record again? And the problem here is that we can justify that 1600 is actual time that we can spend to replace this engine, which makes sense. But 6 hours, 10 minutes, it belongs to the operational issues. Oops. One interesting thing here, before we move to the next slide. If we show this, we ask these questions, if we have 5 aviation reliability experts in the room, and ask the question, all these questions that we asked today, right? How to process all this information, how to code it. can tell you right now, chances very high that we're gonna hear 5 different opinions, 5 different answers. Again and again. We have to be very careful, right? Starting what we want to see, ending how we want to code. But to understand relationship experience, requirements, our contractual agreements, etc., etc., etc. Now let's move to the next slide, and this is mission interruption for